PAVE is an acronym which originally was based upon People Against a Violent Environment, is what the original name stood for. Over time, that's changed a little bit, and we have a little different name for the acronyms, but the concept behind it, violence and domestic violence, is really why PAVE is here. PAVE was really started as a grassroots organization in the late 1970s. We are fortunate to have a few, well, one for sure. I don't know if we have more than one of the original founders with us tonight. Marge Thies.
We started in just out of our homes, fundraising just to pay for long distance phone calls, because back then we didn't have cell phones. So the hospital gave us 2 rooms that we could use rent-free, and then we hired a director to help when we got more organized. And so it was we did not know all the different services that might be needed at that point. And so to have it all covered now is awesome. They're doing an awesome job.
By 1990, we ended up buying a clandestine home on North Center Street. And that's really been PAVE's home ever since that time. Over the course of the years, PAVE's changed its mindset from just being against domestic violence to wanting to do things about domestic violence. So PAVE now goes by the acronym, it's protect, advocate, validate, and educate, with the idea that we really want to get people back on their feet and back into life as they're recovering from domestic and sexual violence. As the project progressed in the early 1990s, private home, that particular shelter grew over time in terms of the amount of work it was doing and so on. By about 2010, the board members at that time realized that the shelter itself carried some trauma in its own regard. Small spaces, compact kind of places, it really was not doing the best for the people that we needed to serve. So some research was done, looking at what were best practices in how to run and operate shelters during that time. And by 2012, they came back to the board and said, this is what we'd like to do, and we'd like to have a new shelter. Really would also bring PAVE out of a clandestine environment and out into the public. This is a pretty formidable building. It's hard to miss it. And it's kind of one of those things that domestic violence and so on has really traditionally been something that was hid in the back and the corners and places like that. This has really allowed us to bring it out into a public place where it can be talked about, but also in a very safe and secure way, which is really what this building does. And you'll notice there's a fair amount of security in this building. So we began, once we bought this building, we really began fundraising in earnest. And with the help of Excel and WDS, we created a floor plan for this space that was about 20,000 square feet, which is the space that we will be using. The building itself is about 45,000 square feet. And part of the plan is to rent out the rest of the space in the building so the building itself becomes self-sustaining. And frankly, it's been that way since we purchased it as well. So the building itself will pay for itself, and its maintenance over time is our goal.
Like for me, I feel like this was overwhelming, but very exciting. And the thoughts of it coming all together, excited. I'm excited. I want everyone to be here already.
It was much needed, much anticipated.